The Supreme Court found Trump's emergency tariffs unconstitutional. What will this mean going forward?
Well, this was a seminal ruling, one that not only Trump himself, but the country and, in fact, the entire world has been waiting for ever since the court heard the arguments on Trump's tariffs in November. And what they were considering is, as to whether Trump had been given constitutional authority to impose tariffs without congressional approval. The Trump administration said that that authority had been implied in legislation that Congress had passed in the 1970s. The court found, however, by a 6-3 margin, that in fact there was no legislative authority that had been given, and that the president was not authorized to impose tariffs except under very unusual circumstances. What's most notable to me, Brianna, is that the vote was 6-3, which means that two of Trump's own appointees, both Gorsuch and Barrett, as well as Chief Justice John Roberts, who was appointed by George W. Bush, all three of them voted with the Democratic appointees on the court against Trump. And not surprisingly, Trump was furious. He's already vowed to impose other tariffs than these in order to continue to move forward with this centerpiece of his economic agenda. But it's going to be much, much more difficult for him to do so. This doesn't make tariffs go away, but as I mentioned, it does make them much more difficult for the Trump administration to impose without the approval of Congress. What we're going to see next is the White House trying to convince the Republicans on Capitol Hill to vote to give Trump that authority. And a lot of congressional Republicans, particularly those in contested re-election campaigns this fall, might be somewhat reluctant to do so. So tariffs aren't gone, but the fight is now shifted to Congress. And embattled congressional Republicans have a very, very challenging decision to make, whether to stay loyal to their president or whether to flout his preferences in order to vote in a way that their own districts and states might prefer.